We all love using local AI, but getting it to automate your repetitive daily tasks and connect your apps together usually means relying on cloud automation platforms like Zapier. The problem is their free tier restricts you to just 100 tasks a month, and even worse, they require full access to your private data. Today we are setting up n8n with local AI. If you never heard of n8n, it's a visual workflow automation tool. You simply set up rules, like when I save an audio file, automatically transcribe it and send it to my notes. But instead of running in the cloud, we are hosting the entire thing locally on your own hardware. Zero cloud, zero fees. Because everything runs directly on your computer, there are no 100 task limits to worry about, no slow servers, and absolutely nobody tracking what you automate. You get a professional grade automation server that you actually own. But before we build anything, let's break down what n8n actually is and how it works. At its core, n8n is a visual workspace where you can build custom automations by simply snapping blocks together. Think of it like a digital assembly line for your computer. Instead of writing scripts to make your apps talk to each other, you drag and drop blocks, which n8n calls nodes, onto a blank canvas. You start with a trigger block, like when a new file is saved in my folder. Then you draw a line to an action block, like read this file, and another line to save it to my notes. Most online automation platforms restricts how many steps you can run before forcing you onto a paid tier. n8n doesn't limit the size of your workflow. You can have it done 3 tasks or 300 tasks and never run out of credits or pay a cloud tax. But the best part is the privacy and the AI integration. Because you are hosting this yourself, your private files never touch a cloud server. And when you drop an AI into the middle of the workflow, it becomes a digital worker. It can read your documents, sort your emails, or transcribe your audio, all completely offline. Let me show you exactly what this looks like in practice. Before we get to the examples, if you just want to install this right now, skip to the timestamp on the screen. Here is the first example. This is an auto summary workflow already built inside n8n. It only takes a few notes. Over in Obsidian, look at this note. It has a project idea mixed with everyday errands, like canceling a subscription and sending an email. It's just a messy block of text. I hit a keyboard shortcut to send this note to n8n. Switching over to n8n, and you can see the workflow running. The trigger catches the note, passes it to the local AI to process, and sends it back. And just like that, a brand new file drops inside the vault. The AI stripped out the mess, pulled out the key information, and organized everything into a clean, easy to read checklist, all completely offline in seconds. It costs $0 and it never left the local network. Now let's look at the second example. The second example is a completely private voice transcriber. Instead of paying for a cloud service to transcribe your audio, we can do it all offline. Let's say I record a voice memo on my phone while I'm driving, just listing out some things I need to get done this weekend. When I hit stop, the audio file syncs directly to a specific folder on my computer. n8n sees the new file and goes to work. First, it uses a local AI called Whisper to turn the audio into raw text. Then it sends the text to our main AI to clean it up and organize it. A few seconds later, a polished text document drops straight into my notes vault. It fixes the grammar, categorizes the tasks, and gives me a clean shopping list. Zero monthly fees, no cloud processing, and completely private. Let's jump into the installation guide and actually get this thing running on your machine. To run n8n, your AI brain, and the voice transcriber all at once, you will want about 16 GB of RAM. If you don't have that, you can actually run the AI on a second computer to split the work. I'm using Linux Mint, but the written guide in the description has the exact commands for Arch and Fedora. Let's open the terminal. First, run the sudo apt update command and apt upgrade to make sure your system is up to date. Next, run the sudo apt install command to grab a few basic tools we need. Now we install Docker. This creates an isolated sandbox for n8n to run inside, keeping it separated from the rest of your system. Paste the scroll command to install it. When that finishes, crashes, run this user mod command. This lets you use Docker without typing a password every time. After you run this, you must reboot your computer or the next steps will break. When you boot back up, just run Docker version to verify it works. Now let's move on and get n8n running. Now we are going to build the actual n8n container. First, we need to create a dedicated folder for it. Type this mkdir command to make the folder, and then type the cd command to open it. Next, we need to give Docker the exact instructions on how to build our container. Type nano docker compose.yml and hit enter. This opens a blank text file. Go to the written guide in the description below, copy the configuration code and paste it right into this window. Before you save, there is one important step. Look for the two lines that say time zone. You need to change both of these to match your actual location, or your scheduled automations will trigger at the wrong times. Once they match, press Ctrl O and hit enter to save it, then press Ctrl X to exit the text editor. To start the container, type docker compose app-d and hit enter. Once it says started, the container is running in the background. Close the terminal and let's get your dashboard set up. Open your browser and go to localhost:5678. This is your new automation dashboard. It will ask you to create an account. This account is local. It just locks out anyone else on your home network from accessing your workflows. Skip through the survey. Next, you will see a screen offering paid features for free. Activate this. It unlocks a bunch of useful pro features that make managing your automations way easier, and it costs nothing. Now we plug our AI into the container. Open LM Studio. If you don't have it installed, the full guide in the description walks you through the setup. Click the developer tab on the left side and just flip the local server switch to on. Click the server settings button and enable serve on local network. Jump back over to n8n. On the left side, click the person icon, go to credentials and click add first credential. Search for OpenAI and select it. Because we are running this offline, we are going to point n8n at our own machine instead of the cloud. For the API key, type any word like LM Studio. For the URL, type this Docker URL. This is the bridge we built with Docker that lets the container reach LM Studio on your host machine. If your AI is on a different computer, type that computer's IP address here instead. Change the name at the top to LM Studio so you remember what it is and click Save. Your automation pipeline is now connected to your local AI. Let's build our first actual automation. For the first automation, open Obsidian and create a new folder called n8n summaries. This is where the AI saves the finished text. Because n8n runs inside an isolated container, it cannot see your hard drive by default. We need to explicitly give it access to this folder. Open your terminal, go to your workspace with the cd command, and open your configuration file using nano docker compose.yml. Under the volume section, paste this new line from the written guide. Just make sure to change the first part to match your exact Obsidian vault path. Save and exit, then restart the container by running docker compose down and then docker compose app-d. The folder is now linked. Next, we need a way for Obsidian to push your nodes to n8n. In Obsidian settings, go to community plugins, search for post webhook and install and enable it. Open its settings and click the gear icon next to the default webhook. Change the name to n8n auto summary, set response handling to do not use response, and turn include raw content to on. Now leave this window open. Go back to n8n dashboard, click create workflow button in the top right, then click add first step and choose webhook. This is the trigger that receives your node. Change the HTTP method to post and click the production URL tab to copy the link. Switch back to Obsidian, paste the link into the webhook URL field and close the window. Now we process the text. In n8n, click the plus button next to the webhook and add basic LLM chain. Change the prompt dropdown to define below and paste the exact instruction from the guide. This just tells the AI to read the text and turn it into clean bullet points. Right below that node, click the plus button on the empty model slot and add OpenAI chat model. Select your LM Studio credential, choose your model from the list and turn responses API API off. Finally, we save the result. Add a convert to file node and select convert to text file. Make sure the input field says text, then add read-write files from disk node and choose write file to disk. Make sure the input field says data. For the file path, paste the exact code from the guide. This automatically names the new file so it doesn't overwrite anything. Click publish in the top right and click publish again to save it. Trigger the webhook with Ctrl P. The AI will start reading your node in the background. In just a few seconds, a brand new file pops into your folder. If we open it up, you can see exactly how it stripped out the mess and organized the text. Now let's build the private voice transcriber. First, we need to create two new folders. Open your file manager and create a new folder in your home directory called Audio Inbox. Then open Obsidian and create a new folder called Voice Summaries. Just like before, we need to give n8n explicit permission to see these two new folders. Go back to your workspace with the cd command and open the configuration file with the nano docker compose.yml command. Under the volume section, paste these two new lines from the written guide. Update the first line to match your exact Obsidian vault path. Save and exit. Apply the changes by running docker compose down and then docker compose up-d. Now we need a way to automatically send audio files from your phone to your computer. We use a free tool called Syncing. The exact installation commands for your distro are in the guide. Just paste them into the terminal and then run the systemctl command so it always turns on when your computer starts. Open your Android phone, download Syncing fork from Play Store, grant it all files access. Make sure the battery optimization is set to unrestrict. To link the phone with the PC, go to localhost 8384 in your computer's browser, click Actions, then Show ID. On your phone, tap the plus icon and scan the QR code. Click Accept on your computer. Now you need a way to actually record your voice. You can download a free app like Fossify Voice Recorder and tell it to save into a new folder called Audio Inbox. If you want to use your phone's default voice recorder, you need to find exactly which folder it saves its file into. Inside Syncing app on your phone, add that exact audio folder and check the box to share it with your PC. On your computer, accept the folder request and point the path to the Audio Inbox folder we created earlier. Now any file you save in that folder on your phone instantly copies directly to your computer. Let's set up the AI listener to process them. To set up the voice transcriber, open your terminal and paste this mkdir and wget commands from the guide. This downloads the free Whisper AI model to your computer. Once it downloads, paste this docker command from the guide and hit enter. This turns on the transcription server in the background. You can type docker ps to verify it's running. Go back to your n8n dashboard, click the person icon, go to credentials and click create credentials. Search for OpenAI and select it. Name it local Whisper API. For the API key, just type Whisper local. For the base URL, paste this docker address. Then click save. n8n will show a red error message. Just ignore it, it's normal for this specific setup. Just close the window. Click create workflow in the overview section. Add your first step. Choose a local file trigger. In the menu that opens up, click on changes involving a specific folder. Set the folder to watch to data audio inbox and tell it to watch for file added. Click add option at the bottom, select use polling and make sure the toggle is on. Click the plus button next to your trigger and add a read write files from disk node. Choose read files from disk, click the expression button next to the file selector and paste this JSON path. Add an OpenAI node next to the read write node and choose transcribe a recording. Select your local Whisper API credential from the list and set the input data field name to data. Add a basic LLM chain node next to the transcribe a recording node. Change the source for prompt dropdown to define below and paste the instruction from the guide to format the text into a clean summary. Click the plus button on the empty model slot and add OpenAI chat model. Select your LM Studio credential, choose your model from the list and turn responses API off. Add a convert to file node on the right of the basic LLM chain node. Choose convert to text file and make sure the text input field say text. Add one last read-write files from disk node next to the convert to file node and choose write file to disk. Click the expression button next to file path, paste the path from the guide and ensure the input binary field is data. Click publish in the top right and click publish again on the save prompt to push it live. Now grab your phone, record a quick test memo in your app and watch your Obsidian folder. The moment you hit stop on your app, SyncThing passes the file to our folder. The workflow triggers, Whisper processes the audio, and there it is, the AI finishes formatting. And a perfectly clean markdown note drops right into your vault with the dynamic title, clean bullet points and categorized action items. Fully automated and completely local. That covers the core installation. I left a link to the full written guide in the description. It includes the setup for Tailscale so you can run these automations from your phone while away from home, plus a troubleshooting section and a clean uninstall guide if you ever need to completely remove it from your system. We only built two simple workflows today, but n8n can connect to hundreds of different apps and run almost any daily task on autopilot. Check the official documentation to see everything else it has to offer. You now have a completely private AI automation server running entirely on your own machine. The only question is, what are you going to automate next? If this guide helped you out, leave a like. Check out my other self-hosted AI videos on the screen right now, and thanks for watching.